Throughout this past week, we've been highlighting our national heroes who played an integral role in making Jamaica what it is today, a land that is proud and free. And what better way to close the week, Heritage Week, than a salute to the men and women who have made significant contributions over the years to nation building through service in various fields. You have to tune in tomorrow at 9 a.m. on this station to catch those movers and shakers in what is now a staple product, the ceremony of investiture and presentation of national honors and awards. It will also be streamed on the OPM, JIS and JCDC websites. Welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry. Stay tuned as we turn the pages of another informative show.
Hurricanes can strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
The distribution of the new national identification card started last Monday on a last-name scheduled basis. Here to tell us more about the distribution and the cards themselves is the Director of Elections, Glasspool Brown. Get the facts.
Welcome to Get the Facts. It's a program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm Anthros Campbell. Now, today we're talking about the new voter ID cards that are being distributed now. With us is Director of Elections, Glasspool Brown. And we'd like to welcome you, sir, to the program once again, and we look forward to the information.
Good to be here with you.
A week has passed since we've started distributing the cards, but we're hearing some reports of long waiting times. What measures have been put in place to adjust that?
We started the process on Monday, October 11.
Yes.
The turnout has been fairly good. But what we have done, as we go along, we have sought to look at the what is happening. We have tweaked it a little bit more. Initially, and one has to understand that we operate most of our office in a plaza environment, which limits the amount of space that there is. That's why we have sought to put an arrangement in place where we ask persons with certain surnames to come on a particular day, so as to limit the number of persons that's going on. Suffice to say, though, we have put a number of things, adjustment to our plans in terms of separating the elderly from the not so elderly persons, and so as to limit the amount of time that an elderly person would have to wait in the line. And we have started to put in tents to offer some level of comfort in terms of shade for the persons, etc. And we have, as we continue to look at the system, continue to tweak it as we go along.
Do you have wardens, I'm calling them, who would help persons to observe the protocols?
Right, we have in place, our plans and our arrangement is specific in the sense that we adhere to the COVID protocol. Everybody that enters into the office to pick up the ID card have to wear masks. They are sanitized, their temperatures are taken. We have engaged a number of cleaners. We have engaged a number of security persons to assist with seeking to get persons to adhere to the social distancing. However, they are with the best of effort. What we have found that not all of us, not everybody has been adhering to the COVID protocol, the social distancing. And that's I think that we need to appeal to a person to do, given the COVID pandemic that we are now in. So we have started to put a number of things in place to assist the process.
All right, now we've seen some kind of difference in how the persons are moving. So there's less crowding now.
Right. I think persons are in the main adhering to the days that they are supposed to pick up their cards. A few persons come outside of their scheduled time. Right. But in the main, they are adhering to that, again, limiting the amount of persons that comes to the office, etc.
Right. I know you have organized it according to surnames, right? Could you tell us how that works?
Well, it works in a sense that on Mondays, A to E, on Tuesdays, F to K, Wednesdays, surnames that begin with L to P, on Thursdays, Q to T, and Friday is due to Z. And again, we just ask person to adhere to those days. And we continue the process. Just to advise the public that it's not a 1 day or a 1 week exercise.
Right.
The process will continue for a number of weeks. So therefore, if you can't make it today, next week you can come next week or the following week, etc. We'll continue the process until all the cards are distributed.
Okay, so we're encouraging persons, if your surname starts with A, don't turn up on the day when you're not being issued the cards, right?
That's correct.
Right. So who should be collecting cards, though?
Just some sort of advice to the public. The current card that you have in your possession,
Yes,
come December 31st, is no longer a valid card. And therefore, most likely the commercial entities won't accept those cards, and the government entities won't. We have sought to put the exercise are segmented into two segments. One for persons who got a card prior to 2015, those individuals who have to come in and apply for renewal. So if you have not yet done so, you need to come to the office. There's no new card for you. And therefore, for you to get that new card, you have to come or visit any one of our offices and seek to and apply for renewal. The persons who got their cards after 2015, those cards were automatically renewed. And therefore, a card will be at the office that you got initially registered. So you need to just visit your office and collect those cards.
right. How do we find out where to go to pick up our cards?
You can call any one of our local offices. You can go on our website, ecj.com.jm/query, or you could call into our toll-free number, 1-888-991-VOTE. Or you can follow us on social media, CEC Jamaica.
Okay, and you said earlier that you separated the elderly from persons who are younger, but do you have some kind of provisions in place for persons who can't come in at all to pick up their card?
Right. If you have an issue for somebody who is sick and is incapacitated, all they need to do, just get in contact with the constituency offices. There's a form that you just need to fill out and send that back to the RO, the returning officer, that is. And that returning officer would then do their assessment and then make an arrangement for the card to be delivered to the person in terms of where they reside.
Right. So how many sites do we have now where you can collect your IDs?
And cards?
Oh, yeah.
We have printed so far in excess of 800,000 cards.
And how many sites do we have where we can locations, to pick up the cards?
Location. We operate close to 70 locations. I think it's about 73 locations across the island. Every constituency have at least one location.
Okay.
So you just need to go to our constituency offices. Some constituencies they have more than one. Some will have two. Maybe in one case, I think that South Manchester has 3 locations.
Right.
So we operate roughly 73 offices across the island.
What should we take with us when we're picking up the cards, the ID cards?
All right. In order to assist the process, to speed up the process, you just need to bring your current ID card. And those who had applied for renewal, they would have gotten a what we call a renewal receipt. That renewal receipt they need to work with that. That renewal receipt would indicate also where they had indicated to us that it would be then preferably a pickup location. So walk with the receipt, walk with your ID card. If you don't have any of those, you can still come. We will find a way to identify you and do the necessary checks and give you your card.
Okay, thank you so much. We're going to take a break and we'll come back with more discussion on the distribution of the new voter ID cards. Please stay with us.
I'm saying to every single Jamaican, you will decide how this pandemic ends. If you wear your mask, if you maintain the physical distance, and if you decide to take the vaccines when it is your time, the pandemic will end. But if in frustration or just ignorance, we do not take responsibility, then the pandemic could end badly, including the loss of more lives.
Welcome back to Get the Facts. We're talking with Mr. Brown, who is Director of Elections, and we're talking, of course, about the new ID cards that are now being distributed. So tell us a little bit more about the electors who were added to the most recent voters list. Do they need to get new cards?
No, anybody who got their card after 2015, they'll be given new cards, but there's no need for them to apply for a renewal. Those cards were automatically printed, and therefore they just need to return to their constituency offices and pick up those cards. So there's another set of cards that we're gonna come out. We're now in the final phase of phase 44, which was closed on September 30th. Those new cards will be ready in the middle of December.
Right. Do the cards have pictures on them, photos on them?
Yes, we have the latest features in ours. We have moved away from the old PVC card. We are now using polycarbonate cards, which is somewhat similar, the same feature texture of the green card. It has certain features. It still have your photograph. It has have your name, your date of birth, your address, etc., and some security features which I wouldn't necessarily reveal here.
Right.
On the card.
But if you're renewing some of them automatically, won't the photographs look different from the persons, since they're not new photographs?
No, that's what I'm saying. That the renewal process that we have asked the person who got their card prior to 2015 to come in. So the process involves retaking of your photograph, because those cards will have some photographs, and over time would have changed our physical features would have changed. And therefore, the new card would more reflect what you currently look like. Okay. So that's why the process involves retaking of the photographs.
Yes. So tell us what are some of the, well, you can't tell us of all the features, but these cards, ID cards, are very different from the ones we had before.
Right. It's more modern technology where we use, as I said before, polycarbonate material that we use, and they are laser printed cards, and the other features in the card, and they now have a lifespan of 10 years again, and these new cards will expire in 2031.
Okay, they would expire in 2031. Okay.
10 years, there's a 10-year lifespan. Yes.
Right. So you're constantly doing renewal, so people can always come in now and get new cards, as well as renew their old cards.
Right, the process continues, so if you try and make the decision so you can come in whenever you feel like, and we will seek to renew your card. As I said before, and as people need to remember this, that come December 31st, the old card that you have in your possession will be of no longer of any use. And therefore, if you need to go to the Western Union come January 1, you won't be able to use those cards. And therefore, it's best for you now to seek to get your card renewed. A number of persons have been coming in recent times, and we welcome that, because we want to change as much of the old cards as possible. And therefore, if you have not yet done so, you need to do so now. Just by visiting any constituency office and indicated them that you want to renew your card, and also indicated them where you want to pick up your card.
Right, and there's no cost to renew the card.
It's one of the best ID cards in Jamaica now. It's free. It's available to everybody, and therefore there's no cost whatsoever. No
cost. But what kind of cost was it for you, for the government, for this exercise?
Such amount of money is spent. I think we spent in excess of $400 million because in order to the entire exercise, to purchase the equipment to print the cards, the material, the staff that we had used to collect the data. Remember, if you can recall that in 2020 or the latter part of 2019 when we started, we had a number of satellite sites across the island. So in addition to our constituency offices, we had a number of satellite sites. And there was a cost to that because we had to bring on board additional staff and et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, okay. Thank you so very much. As we wrap, remind us of the process. Persons with what letter, surname starting with what letter should come. Just remind us.
On Mondays, A to E. On Tuesdays, F to K. Wednesdays, L to P. Thursdays, Q to T. And Fridays, U to Z.
Good. Thank you so much. Anything else you'd like to add, sir, before we wrap?
Just ask person to now try and get your card, to try and renew your card. You can visit any of our constituency offices. If you need any additional information, just go on our website, or call into our toll-free number, or continue to follow us on social media, ECJ Jamaica. But bear in mind again, as I wrap up, that come December 31st, the current old card that you have in your possession will be of no further use to you, and therefore you'll be out of an identification card.
Yes, okay. Thank you so very much. This has been Get the Facts. Our guest was Director of Elections, Glasspool Brown. Until next time, when Get the Facts brings you, as usual, important and useful information. I'm Rose Campbell. Thanks for watching and take good care.
To properly carry out a hand rub, apply a palmful of the product in your cupped hand, covering all surfaces. Rub your hands palm to palm. Rub your right palm over the back of your left hand with interlaced fingers and vice versa. Rub your hands palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Rub the back of your fingers to opposing palms with fingers interlocked. Rotationally rub backwards and forwards the clasped fingers of your right hand in your left palm and vice versa. Once your hands are dry, they are now safe.
Marcus Mosiah Garvey was awarded the Order of National Hero in 1969. He is Jamaica's first national hero. It is said that Garvey's legacy can be summed up in the philosophy he taught: race pride, the need for African unity, self-reliance, the need for black people to be organized, and for rules to govern on behalf of the working class. Let's take a trip down memory lane to learn about his life and his work.
Marcus Garvey words come to pass.
On August 17, 1887, in the quiet town of St. Anne's Bay, 50 years after emancipation, the son of a Maroon was born, one who refused to accept the injustices he observed around him as he grew up. While attending school, he developed a healthy appetite for reading, fed by his small library at home. Unable to attend high school because of financial difficulties, Garvey at age 14 became an apprentice printer for his godfather, Mr. Burroughs. 2 years later, he joined the staff of P.A. Benjamin in Kingston as a printer and quickly became a foreman. But after having joined a workers' strike at the plant, he was relieved of his job. After a brief stint at the government's printing office, he started his own paper, The Watchman. It folded because of poor financing.
Marcus Garvey words come to pass.
At an early age, Garvey began championing the cause of black redemption, leading the way for the universal freedom of the black diaspora. He became actively involved in politics, cultural organization, and the trade union movement, and developed a passion for journalism, printing, and publishing. At the age of 20, Garvey made a life-changing commitment.
I ask myself, where is the black man's government? Where is his king and his kingdom? Where is his president, his country, and ambassadors, his army, his men of big affairs?
Garvey could not find the answer, and so took on the task of helping blacks at home and abroad to create their own nation. In 1910, he joined his uncle in Costa Rica and traveled extensively throughout South and Central America, where he observed and was deeply touched by the poor conditions in which West Indian workers lived. Later, he traveled to England and continued his studies in journalism. While there, he consolidated the thoughts and philosophy that he would use to call the Negroes of the world to action. At the age of 27, 5 days after he returned from England, Marcus Mosiah Garvey founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities Imperial League. The focus of the organization was to unite all the black peoples of the world and to establish a country and government that was absolutely and uniquely their own. Garvey's movement ran into trouble with the local authorities and was rejected by the Jamaican people. Undaunted, he traveled to the United States. After visiting several states, he settled in New York. From there, Garvey established several branches of the UNIA across the country, and by 1920, the movement registered over 4 million members. At its peak, the UNIA had over 11 million registered members in 859 branches in over 30 countries. On June 27, 1919, the economic arm of Garvey's liberation movement was incorporated, the Black Star Line. This enterprise was meant to create jobs and business opportunities for millions of blacks worldwide. The business did well in the first year, but ran into financial difficulties soon afterwards. Garvey, his movement and his philosophy ran into problems with the United States authorities. He was jailed and deported to Jamaica.
Marcus Garvey words come to pass.
Garvey returned to Jamaica to a tumultuous welcome by a large and enthusiastic crowd. He wasted no time in organizing a political movement. He founded the People's Political Party in 1929, the first modern political party in Jamaica. Perhaps Garvey's most outstanding contribution in the quest for the universal emancipation of the black race was his lifelong unrelenting efforts to unite and uplift the black race through a program of self-reliance and education. The thoughts and ideas of Marcus Garvey evolved into a social, political, spiritual, and economic blueprint for the successful development of a black nation. He advocated Africa for the Africans. He encouraged blacks to be proud of themselves and of their history, and for them to be self-reliant and strong. In shaping the political destiny of the black nation, the Declaration of the Rights of the Negro Peoples of the World, adopted at the First International Convention of Negro Peoples held during the month of August 1920 in New York, was a radical document. As a legal instrument, it ranked alongside the Magna Carta and the United States Constitution in that it affirmed and demanded redress for the injustices heaped upon a despised and rejected people by the entire world. The convention was attended by over 25,000 members and delegates from all over the world and demonstrated the power and reach of Garvey's movement. But most of all, it signaled the growing solidarity of the Negro peoples of the world. Garvey called for the emancipation of the mind at the 6th Negro Convention in 1929, held at Edelweiss Park in Kingston. He declared then that after the physical emancipation of slaves, the UNIA should create a second emancipation, an emancipation of the minds and thoughts of the 400 million Negroes of the world. Marcus Mosiah Garvey was not able to totally emancipate his people from their social, economic, and political bonds in his lifetime, but he certainly planted the seeds of black liberation and redemption across the globe, and the world has not been the same since.
Marcus Garvey words come to pass.
And despite the price across our country. I believe that we can join our hands and make a difference in Jamaica. I believe that we can make a change and spread our belief of hope across our country. I believe that we can join our hands and make a difference in Jamaica. I believe, I believe, I believe.
The government of Jamaica and its partners invite you to participate in the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean Virtual Conference from November 1 to 4. Register online before October 20. Together, we are building resilient economies in the Americas and the Caribbean. Register, join the conversation, and let's take action for a cause.
This is where the magazine ends for today, but if you would like to see more content like this, then visit our YouTube page. We also have all the latest news and updates on our social media pages and on our website, jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.